What's up everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope that you all are doing amazing, that you're staying safe and staying sane at the same time. I'm super excited about this video, like any other video on my channel. And on today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys a book review of the book called The Atomic Habits by James Clear. So this is my, I think this is the second official read this year. I know I am doing really badly in terms of my goals because I was planning to do 2 books a month, and that's literally like two books every 2 months, so I need to pull up my socks. So I'm going to be doing a review of this book. It's a book that I really loved. I really enjoyed reading it, and I really thought that it would be great to share some of the insights I've learned throughout this book. James Clear is a well of wisdom. I think I first learned about him a few years back when through his email newsletter. I think I subscribed through it. You know, one of those things you subscribe when you're online and you don't even know about it, and then until they start sending you emails and you think, what is happening? When did I even subscribe to this? But it was really a good decision because every single time you interact with his content, you become more knowledgeable, you become wiser, and you just get, you know, steps ahead in terms of acquiring knowledge. So I thought that it would be a great book to read in 2022 because 2022 really is a year of change. So if you're not going to change with the times, then you're going to be left behind. So yeah, here's a book. For those who might not know this, so yeah, it's Atomic Habits, Tiny Changes, Remarkable Results, an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. So I think the thing about life is we are constantly building habits, that's for sure. Now what matters is, are you intentional about the habits you're building? Are you intentional about building good habits, or you're just moving with the flow and becoming, you know, just building any habit that comes your way? So I think for me, reading this book really just opened up my eyes, and it made me realize that, you know what, like every single day, every damn time, I am building a habit. So it's up to me to be intentional about the kind of habit I'm building so as to become a better person, because our habits form the person that we are. So to cut the long story short, I really hope that you guys are going to enjoy this review, so please stay tuned for more of this video. Guys, as I was saying, this book is really remarkable. It was such an eye-opener. As I've said just in the introduction, that all of us are constantly building habits in our life and on this journey on earth, and it's up to you to decide the kind of habits you'll build. Are you going to be intentional about building those habits, or are you just going to move with the flow? You know, yeah, let's just see where this river takes us. Yeah, so it's so interesting because he speaks about how when you get into a room, the first instinct of a human being is to turn on the switch so that the lights go on. That right there is a habit. So probably to you think it's just something I do every time I get into a room. It's just something I do. It's something I'm used to, as in I just got used to this since I was young. But that right there, it's a habit. Like there's so many things that we do naturally in our instinct because we have either grown up seeing people doing that, or we have just been accustomed to that in our surrounding. So I think the older you grow, the more mature you become, the more you realize the importance of actually forming the kind of habits that will lead you towards your purpose, towards your destiny, and towards living the kind of life that you've always wanted to live. So when I was reading this book, the thing that stood out the most for me was, first of all, have I really thought about the kind of life I want to live? You know, so many of us usually write out our goals probably every new year. You have New Year resolutions, the things that you're looking to achieve in that new year. But have you literally thought about your life, you know, from the end to the beginning? Like in the end of your time, what kind of life do you want to have lived? What kind of story do you want to have written? And I think once you know that about the kind of life you want to live, then you're able to create habits that will enable you to reach towards your destiny, or rather to reach towards the kind of life you're looking at. So for example, if you know that at the end of your time you want to be known for a very kind person, a person who made everyone happy, a person who made people laugh, a person who brought sunshine and good vibes everywhere they went. So once you know that, you can plan from now. Like you ask yourself, every time you're doing something, or every time you're speaking about something, or every time you're speaking to someone, are you living out the kind of life you want to live? You know, are you writing the kind of story you want people to read? Are you kind? Because at the end of your days, nobody will say, it's in the small things, it's in the small steps you take every day that build up and become the bigger picture. Yeah. So the first step is to understand what is your bigger picture. What are you looking at? What kind of life do you want to make? You know, if you were given, God has given you the paintbrush of your life, what kind of painting are you painting for that life? You know, God has given you the pen. What kind of story are you writing? Right? Such that even when you're on your deathbed, or like even in the next life, when people ask you to, you know, retrospect and kind of think about the life that you led, did your habits form the person that you wanted to be? Or you were just moving along in life like very recklessly, you didn't even know the kind of person you are, you didn't even know the kind of person you want to become. So I think this book did that for me, and I'd recommend this to anyone because he is very particular about the intentionality that is required every time you're trying to build a habit. You know, for example, like for me, let me be very vulnerable with you. I feel like I am at a place in my life where I really want to be intentional about mindful eating. And I've spoken about this. I really want to be the kind of person who eats because, you know, like you know what you're eating, you know what you're putting into your body, like the kind of nutrients you're getting, the kind of, like you really just don't eat because there's food. You don't eat because you want to eat a chocolate. Because I want to eat a bar of chocolate, I'll just go into a supermarket and I'll buy chocolate because that's what I want. But what does your body want? What is helpful for you as a person? You know, you just don't do things because that's what you want. And you know, discipline is being able to command yourself. You don't allow yourself, you don't allow your mind and your body to dictate the kind of life you're going to live. You do it because you're intentional. You eat right because you know that it's good for you. So for me, mindful eating is something that I'm really trying to incorporate in my life. I'm really trying to be more careful because, you know, we read all these quotes from people who have gone ahead of us, people who are in, you know, way older than me and way older than us. And they're always telling us what you eat right now, the kind of habits you build now are going to determine the kind of life you live even when you're older, even when you've retired. So if you eat junk, honey, high chances are you're going to live a junk-filled life. You know, you're going to start regretting some of the choices you make. And this does not mean that you go out there and live a miserable life because you're so scared about the future, but it's about learning. It's about learning the reason why I need to eat this vegetables. It's not because I'm trying to punish myself, but it's because I value myself so much that I want to take care of my gut, or I want to take care of my body. So yeah, I'm going to start by reading the synopsis of this book, so that I can just bring you in onto this journey. And it's a revolutionary way to get 1% better every day. People think when you want to change your life, you need to think big. But world-renowned habits expert James Clear has discovered another way. He knows that real change comes from the compound effect of hundreds of small decisions, doing 2 push-ups a day, waking up 5 minutes earlier, or reading just 1 more page. He calls them atomic habits. In this groundbreaking book, Clear reveals exactly how these minuscule changes can grow into such life-altering outcomes. He uncovers a handful of simple life hacks, the forgotten art of habit stacking, the unexpected power of the 2-minute rule, or the trick to entering the Goldilocks zone, and delves into cutting-edge psychology and neuroscience to explain why they matter. Along the way, he tells inspiring stories of Olympic gold medalists, leading CEOs, and distinguished scientists who have used the science of tiny habits to stay productive, motivated, and happy. These small changes will have a transformative effect on your career, your relationships, and your life. So guys, how I'm going to do this review is not your usual review where we speak about page by page or chapter by chapter. I really just want to highlight the things that stood out the most for me in this book, and reasons that, you know, in case you're not able to ever read this book, these are some things that you can apply into your life. Like, first of all, now that I've mentioned it, the 2-minute rule, my goodness, I think this is brilliant. And for me, I am so excited. First of all, for so long, I've always been the kind of person who believes multitasking is effective, especially at work. So you'll find anytime I'm working, I have like 1,500 tabs open on my laptop. And I remember one of my colleagues coming and they saw my laptop and they're like, "What is happening? How do you even function with all these tabs open? How are you able to even concentrate and get work done?" And I was like, yeah, because that's just the person I am. I like to multitask. And then she told me that's not being effective. You might think that you're actually getting more done, but you really are not. You are probably even wasting more time than good. So in this book, when he speaks about the 2-minute rule, he says, like, if you think there's a habit that will take you 2 minutes to do, don't shelve it. Like, for example, I've woken up, making my bed. So because I feel like I've woken up and I really need to get work done, I really need to send that email, I need to do this, I won't make my bed then. I'll postpone it or procrastinate it and make my bed later. Yet I would have just used that 1 minute to spread my bed so fast and go on with the rest of my day. So if you know something is going to take you a short time to do, stop shelving it. Stop saying I'll respond to that email in the afternoon. I'm going to send that quote in the afternoon. If it's going to take you a few minutes, just get over and done with it. Send that email, send that quotation, and move on. That way you're able to get more things done on your to-do list, and you're able to be even more effective when it comes to your work. So, and that's also the other importance of having a to-do list. That's the one thing I've also realized. If you're the kind of person who has a lot to do in a day, it's very important to have a to-do list, because first of all, it's even scientific. Anytime you tick something off your to-do list, you get motivated, you have some dopamine rising, and you feel like, you know what, I got this. I'm doing this thing. I really got this, you know, and it gives you more encouragement to keep working and to keep so that, you know, that feeling of just ticking off that something on your to-do list, it just gives you more motivation to even do more, so that you can tick more off your to-do list. So it's important to have a to-do list. It's important to tick it off every time you finish a task. And remember that multitasking does not necessarily help you get more work done. It, first of all, it can be time consuming, it can be confusing, it can lead to a lot of distractions, and you're constantly thinking, oh my God, this Excel document, I'm not done with it. Oh my God, I'm not done with my strategy. Oh my God, I've not sent this email. Your mind is literally on overdrive. And I think for me, this really became a reality, because nowadays I even struggle with short-term memory. Like, I could be speaking about something and I feel like there's so much going on in my head. I can't even, I can't even unpack the things that I need to unpack in that moment. So it's very important to be very keen on that. Avoid multitasking, so that you're able to finish one task at a time and move on to the next task. So the other thing is, I have quite a lot, so I took down some notes so that I can use those to teach, or rather to help with that. So the other thing is, it's only by making the fundamentals of life easier that you create the mental space needed for free thinking and creativity. I remember when I had at work, we hosted Eugene Bogo, one of the youngest millionaires in Kenya, and he was speaking about his routine and how amazing, it's just amazing how he's able to do so much in a day, because first of all, he wakes up really early and he's planned out his day. Anyway, I remember him mentioning the thing about decision fatigue. And decision fatigue is something that many human beings are struggling with. And the worst part is, we don't even know we're struggling with that. So ideally, what James Clear was saying is, it's very important for you to be able to make as many decisions, or rather to even to stack many decisions, such that you don't have to every single day. For example, you don't have to struggle with, oh my God, what am I going to wear today? Oh my God, what am I going to eat for breakfast? Oh my God, what am I to... Like, it's easier for you if you've already thought about all that. Make all those things, all the fundamental things in life so easy, such that you have more mental space to think about more serious matters. Like, you don't constantly think about, oh my God, what am I going to do with my hair? And I remember, for me, one of the reasons why I'd put dreadlocks, or the temporary dreadlocks, is because I don't have to be at the salon every single month. I don't have to be thinking about, oh my goodness, what hairstyle am I going to put next? What this and this am I going to do? What this and that am I going to do? Every single month, you spend so much time thinking, deciding, actually doing, going to the salon, sitting down for 2 hours, 3 hours to get that hair done, and it's a lot. So if you can be able to stack all these things and be able to find a solution that enables you to get all this done, like without having to think about it every other day, it's very important to do that. And I think that's where having a system is important. That's why, for example, the people who live alone, the people who do meal prep is really good, because every single night you don't have to come home and start thinking, oh my goodness, what am I having for dinner? What am I having tomorrow for lunch? Because you've already prepared this beforehand, and every single day you have more time, more energy to think, be creative, and explore your creative mind. The other thing is, the purpose of setting goals is to win the game. The purpose of building systems is to continue playing the game. So you see, when you're setting goals, when you sit down here, let's say it's the beginning of the year and you're doing the New Year resolutions. The reason why we set these goals is not because we want to just have goals somewhere stacked in our mind or on our vision board. It's because the idea is to win. The idea is to, if it's a house you want to buy, the idea is to be able to buy that house. If it's traveling, you want to travel more, the idea is to be able to actually do that. So when you set them, the idea is to win. However, the purpose of building systems is to enable you to continue playing the game. So this is where habits come in. So for example, you are on a journey of weight loss and you're on a journey of becoming more fit. So let's say my goal is to get to 60 kgs, for example. I can work so hard, I can do anything and literally anything and everything. I can use pills, I can go for liposuction, I can literally do anything to achieve that goal. But the thing that will enable me to stay on course, the thing that will enable me to keep maintaining that ideal weight is the systems that I will have built during the process so that they can sustain me even after. And that's why you're usually told, even when it comes to creating a healthy lifestyle, you have to do things that are sustainable, such that even if once you've achieved your target, once you've gotten to your ideal weight, you can be able to sustain this this lifestyle even after that. That's why some diets are not recommended, because for example, you cannot live on water alone for the rest of your life. You cannot live on something like as in there's some things that are just not possible and they're not sustainable. So that's why it's very important for you to create habits that are sustainable in the long run. The other thing is, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Same thing as the previous point. Like, I can get to my ideal weight at 60, nobody knows what I did my own shady things and I managed to achieve that, but I will quickly get back to 100 because I didn't establish a sustainable trajectory as to which I'm going to achieve this goal for the rest of my life. So it's important. You can easily fall to the level to how bad your systems are. It's easier to fall to how bad your systems are than to get to your ideal weight without this system. So develop habits that are going to help you sustain that. Like for example, when I was speaking about being a mindful eater, when you're a mindful eater, even when I get to my ideal weight, this is something that I will have inculcated in my life. It's going to be a lifestyle that will take me through for the rest of my life. That I know I don't eat sugar because it doesn't help my body. It makes me grow bigger. It could lead to diseases that are not worth it. Like I have already ingrained that in my mind such that it's become a part of who I am. Then surround yourself with people who have the habits you want to have. You know, they say, show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If I'm always, unfortunately or fortunately, if I'm always spending time with people who are constantly smoking 24/7, high chances are it's easier for me to be pulled down than for me to pull them up. It's easier for them to make me start smoking than for me to make them stop smoking. So you have to be very particular about hanging out with people who have the kind of habits you have. Do you want to become a millionaire? Hang out with people who are millionaires, because these guys are going to show you the hacks, the tricks and turns they've used to be able to get there. Do you want to be a person who keeps time? Do you want to be more punctual? Hang out with people who keep time, because that way some things will easily rub off on you. Do you want to be a person who speaks eloquently, a person whose oratory skills are great, a person who has very good diction? Hang out and speak with people who are just like that, because that way it's easier for them to rub off on you than you rubbing off on them. It's very easy to be able to I feel like habits are very contagious. That's why it's very important for you to be intentional about the kind of crowd you keep around you, the kind of friends you keep around you, because soon and very soon you'll get to realize that you are literally the average of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. So if you're on a weight loss journey, if you're on a journey of mindful eating, becoming healthier, it's important to surround yourself with people who are also on that journey, or people who've been there, done that, and can help you with some advice as to how they've managed to achieve that. The other thing I've also learned through this book is nothing sustains motivation better than belonging to the tribe. For example, this is also very similar to what I've just spoken about, hanging around the people who have the kind of habits you're looking at. So motivation, like for example, if I hang out with people who are gym fanatics, like high chances are, even if I backslide and get back to my ways of not working out, not giving a care in this world about fitness, I'll feel so left out. I'll have this serious sense of FOMO that I will easily get back to that lifestyle. You know, and it's the same thing. It goes both ways. If I'm always hanging around people who really don't care about their lives, they don't care about the decisions they make, they're out here living recklessly and doing anything they want to do, high chances are, even if I decide to do better and I start actually doing better, it will be very easy for me to get back to that lifestyle, because I'll start asking myself, I miss so and so, I miss their company, because that company was familiar to me. Like, in as much as I know it wasn't good company, that is what I knew for a certain period of my life. So it's very important to be very intentional about the kind of crowd you keep around you. Be very intentional about the kind of friends you have, because these people will determine where you go in life. These people will determine the kind of habits you form. They'll determine also the other thing. If you hang around people who are always cussing others, people who are always gossiping others, people who are always speaking badly about others, shouting at others, being just rude and unkind, high chances are you'll be that person. So because one, you want to fit in, two, you really want to be a part of the crowd, and you don't want to have that element of FOMO in some sense. The other thing, and the final thing I want to speak about, is the amount of time you have been performing a habit is not as effective as the number of times you have performed it. I love this. I love this so much, because actually before I read this book, I was reading a book by Robert Greene, The Art of Seduction. And not the art of seduction, mastery. And he speaks about ways in which you can become an expert in any single aspect that you're working on. So I think for me, it was really eye-opening, because I got to learn I could be doing something for 5 years. But in those 5 years, every year I just give it 10 hours, 10 hours in my whole year. I can never be the same as someone who's been doing this habit 3 hours every day, even for 6 months. Because our minds have been conditioned to follow certain cues. Like, if every single day I tell myself I'm going to, for example, read the Word of God, spend time with Him, have quality time with Him, inadvertently I will become that person. It will just be ingrained in me. It will be a part of who I am, and that 1%, improving 1% every day, will ideally take me to the place I want to go, as opposed to saying I want to be, for example, for me, I really want to grow my skill in terms of people, in terms of speaking, in terms of moderating panels. I want to get to global stages where I'll be able to moderate a panel of thousands of people, millions of people, because I know I can, and I know I have the brains to do that. But I can't do this if I'm not consistent, for example, even on posting on my channel, because this is a great platform for me to speak to people out there. You never know who's watching. You never know who you're speaking to. And one day this could be the platform that they'll use to elevate you to the next level. So it's very important to do that habit that you want to develop constantly. Be very consistent with it. If it's working out, make sure every single day you're doing something, you're active, your body is active. You are constantly, trying to improve yourself and trying to become better in terms of your working out and all that stuff, because eventually when you do that, it will be very easy for you to be able to achieve those dreams you have. It will be very easy for you to be able to just get closer to your ideal life. Yeah, so it's not about how many years you've been doing something, it's about how many times you've performed it. Yes, so if you want to become a better public speaker, how often do you speak in those family functions? Do you raise your hand and say you have something to say? Are you always very quick to be able to present in class? You're confident to say, I have this. During presentations, you do it so well, confidently, and you believe in yourself. Do you do that? Because that many times, haba na haba hujaza kibaba. So yeah, guys, I think this is a brilliant book. It is quite bulky, by the way. It's really big. It's around 300 pages, but it's totally worth your time. I think I would have done better. I think I read it in like 1 month or slightly over a month, but it's because I think I had so much and I wasn't prioritizing it. So you can get it. It's around 2,000 bob, I think 850 Kenya shillings. You can get it at Textbook Center. That's where I bought it, and really just give it a shot. I promise you, you will not regret it. It's a very good read, and it's very eye-opening, and I really hope that I am able to now make these things a lifestyle, because it doesn't make sense to constantly read stuff and not become that person, So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I really had so much fun shooting this and just speaking to you guys. I'd really love to hear your thoughts about, like this book. What have you learned about habit stacking? What have you learned about forming the ideal habits that you want to form in your life? Because together we grow and go so much further than being alone. So thank you so much for watching Sharon Ngugi's channel. In case you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button down below. If it's red, it means you haven't subscribed, and it's absolutely free to do that. Turn it gray, turn on notifications so that you're notified every time I upload a new video, and let's keep growing Sharon Ngugi's channel. Thank you so much. Until next time, goodbye.